So what exactly is a storyboard? At the point at which the words and visuals meet prior to showing up on tape together is the storyboard. Even at the paper stage, you can visualize total. Tape will come after, at the end of the show, when it is done. But storyboard tells the final getup, final shape. You can see, you can pinpoint the things, the faults, the strong points, weak points on a storyboard. Simple storyboards are of great use in planning and shooting of a film. We have seen in earlier examples also. It helps everybody in the production team, because you are sharing your ideas, sharing your mind with your team, so that you accomplish what is in your mind, and hence the result that will be achieved will be exactly matching with what you actually thought of. Otherwise, there are always chances of variation if you are not having a proper storyboard, because you conceived something else and what you finally got may be different. You can't do the things time and again because it costs every time. The storyboards are of great help to inexperienced directors or the newcomers, we can say, who have difficulties in communicating precisely what they want to the cameraman. If you are not very good in verbal communication, at least sketch it roughly. You may not be a very good artist, but rough sketching you can always do to tell the frame, the position of the persons in the frame, to give the composition. So if you are able to do that, I think your cameraman and your other members can really catch your mind. Storyboards are of great help to the graphic designers, animation artists and director in production of commercial spots. Commercial spot means it's more challenging. Communicating in the shortest possible time, say maximum of 1 minute. It means you should be really having a command over a situation. Anything which you usually say in 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour, you are expected to say and sell in 1 minute or even seconds. 1 minute I am saying slightly on the higher side. We usually ads are of 10 seconds also. So in 10 seconds if you are supposed to work, so you have to be a very precision worker. Everything has to be as per the storyboard in seconds, and telling all the transitions, who will enter from the left, who will enter from the right, who will move out, who will move in, where the music will start. So all these things, it's a paperwork. On paper you have to describe everything. Only then you can achieve a good result. A storyboard is a pictorial sketch of how each shot should look like and how it links with the next shot. We have seen that. I think it's because we see the previous shot and the next shot both simultaneously. So we know exactly where we are placed at a particular point. It is often easier to work out and describe shots in sketches rather than in words. Easy to communicate. If you can scribble something, it says directly without any ambiguity, without any confusion or this thing. Simple problems like how to avoid crossing the line, which worry many beginners, can be solved instantly if they sit down and draw a sketch. What is crossing the line? See, in video production when we are shooting, see, normally where to place a camera is a very important decision. You have to be on one side of the action axis. If you cross that placement, camera placement, the direction reverses. I'll show you some more examples to clarify that. So with storyboard, you are very clear whether you are crossing the line or whether you are on the same side of the line. There are some examples I have cited here. So these are two people, and which are the shots are being taken from camera 1, 2 and 3. So these are the shots corresponding to camera 1, camera 2 and camera 3. This is a man in say black coat. These two people are talking and this is the action axis. Fine. It means action is taking place between these two people who are talking. As long as your camera is on this side of this line, we have drawn a dotted line between these action axis. Okay. If we see that the direction of the persons remains the same, like man in the blazer is on the left in this frame, and this frame. But suppose we have another camera, we shift it across this line and shoot the same persons. What happens here? Direction reverses. While you are shooting, you will not notice, because you are just, I think, carried by a scene, because action is very catchy and lot of things are taking place and there are lot of distractions when you are shooting outdoors. But if you cross it, then your grammar changes. The person on the left is now is the person on the right. So this goes against the grammar. This shows that never cross this imaginary line. Although it applies more to the production, but still, since it can be clarified in the script stage, so we have captured it here. Some more examples. Similarly, when we take the shot of a car moving, so if this is the direction of the movement of car, so the action axis is this. Okay. So when we are taking the shot from this camera, we see the head of the car first, because it is moving here. This is shot number 2 from, if the camera is here, we see the front side of the car. But if the third camera is placed here, so the direction is reversed. So you can't cut between this shot and this shot straight away. If you are shooting in editing, if you are cutting this shot and then cutting this shot, it will give an impact that same car is colliding. Instantly if you change, so it will give an effect of collision. And I think this situation becomes more serious when it is a sports event coverage. For example, if it is a football match. So in football, the direction left or right, because one team is playing from the left side, the other is on the other side. You see, if you are placing the cameras on one side of the stadium in the grandstands and taking the close-up of man hitting the ball, so direction will be from left to right. But if you cut to a camera on the other side of that action, so it will look that he is hitting his own goal. Okay. So this grammar has to be followed, and the storyboard really helps. Another practical example I have cited here. See, some car is moving this way, the person stops it. We show that when it restarts, this is the direction of the wheel. Now car goes and it goes away out of the sight. Okay? What happens if at this stage we change the imaginary line? If the camera is placed on the other side while you are shooting in this location, this is the location. What happens? This direction is okay, car is coming, approaching, the man stops. Since now next shot is taken from the other side, so now the direction of the wheel reverses. Okay? And again you find that it's going in the forward direction. So you can immediately make out it's an error. So errors can be minimized using storyboards. Working storyboard is likely to be revised several times before it is finalized for shooting. It's not a final thing what you are doing. You can always bring about changes for improvement. Anything can be modified for improvement. Okay, it's not very hardliner type of thing that sorry nobody can change it. This is not how the films are made. Things are flexible. Similarly, it applies to faculty members also. They may be usually very rigid about their subject, but when they have to work as a team, you have to have a team effort, very flexible, listen to all, and if the suggestion is really to improve, then there is no reason that you should deny and you should not accept it. Now combining the words and pictures on paper, when we are doing it together, what happens? A script can be very sketchy or highly detailed depending on the subject and treatment. But we have to think in terms of small units. When we are sketching frame by frame. So howsoever complicated or big the script may be. Okay? It is not necessary for your pictures to be the works of art. You don't have to be very good artist, but you can always roughly point out, okay, this is a placement in a frame. This man is on the left, this man is on the right, or this man will exit the frame, this man will enter the frame. Through the arrows you can sketch. Okay? Rough outlines are sufficient as long as the idea is clear. It works. Use some form of visual representation so that the sequence of images is immediately evident. When you will see it, you can immediately make out. Video is predominantly a visual medium. Use sound to complement rather than dominate. Not to describe a shot, but to give the information which is not being communicated by the pictures. Planning the pictures, when we are thinking visually, how we have to go about. Plan the pictures to show exactly what needs to be shown. No variation, because where you need a close-up, there has to be a close-up. So no deviations. You should be very clear what you are going to show and how much you are going to show. Plan camera movements for shots. Use zoom in for detail of the pictures. As you said, where you are highlighting something, zoom in means go closer to the subject. Anything should be seen very clearly. Zoom in to show the details so that the learner is able to see the important point. Plan the movements of subject within the shot. You can use arrows to the left, to the right, top, bottom, because there are 4 directions in the frame. Okay, suppose you are showing a balloon filled with hydrogen, so it will go up. So show a arrow upwards, it will go out of the frame. Similarly, car movements can be left to right. It depends. Plan the continuity of pictures for smooth transitions from content of one shot to another. See, ultimately, if you are showing 2 shots together and there is a movement, so there has to be a continuity. Like we discussed earlier, the direction of car in one frame has to match with the same direction in the next shot. Directions cannot reverse in the 2 consecutive shots. So this you have to take care when you are planning some movements. Plan the logic of picture changes so that the sequence flow within themselves. Everything should be justified. Why you want to change? Why the person should go from place 1 to place 2nd? If it is required, do it. But if it can be avoided, manage with that. Plan the sequence changes. Plan the exact words for titles and captions. Any commentary which refers to them should say the same thing. What does it mean? You see, normally what happens, we write something else and the narrator takes the liberty to speak something in a different way. That should not happen, because your eyes are reading what they are seeing. So speak what you are seeing, but narrator should speak what is written there, not that it implies and this and that. That variation is not acceptable. It has to go very straightforward, because no lateral thinkings. Very straightforward and simple communication is the best communication. Listening to one set of words and reading another is confusing for the viewer. This usually happens, I have seen, that you take the liberty to speak it in your way. That really should not happen. Plan any artwork for graphics and illustrations so that it is prepared in time. Preparing a graphic or preparing animation takes time. Give this work in advance with as much details, because if you are very clear while you are assigning a work, telling in terms of the frames exactly, as you will show this much in the first frame, second frame, third frame, fourth frame, and then maybe give rough length of the shots also, duration, and what narration will go with this. So if you are giving all the details when you are assigning the animation work, I think that will be saving your time later on. And don't forget that animations making take lot of time, so it requires advanced planning. If your recording is on a particular day and you want certain animations to be ready and be a part of that presentation, then give it in advance so that the artist gets the time to really work on that, show it to you, take your approval, get certain corrections done, and then incorporate all those changes so that it suits you. Plan the stills and photographs. Photo libraries and archives are excellent source of materials. Suppose you are making a film on the history of an institution where you are working. So it may be a 40-50 years old institution, and that was a time when colored photographs were not available. So go to the archives, dig out those photographs, your former directors, principals, labs, what infrastructure was there 40 years back. Dig out those. I think it gives a good presentation. Show it in that format, maybe in monochrome, black and white, if you have those. No need to add colors unnecessarily, because you are telling the past history. So you have to search those materials when you are making a film on an institution or some sort archival material. So that material will help you.